We all have something we can't escape. A repetitive thought, a habit we try to change but can't. These compulsions, what if they aren't just random behaviors but reflections of something deeper inside us? Compulsions come from something ingrained, deep in us. Something that has been with us for years, decades, maybe even lifetimes. It's not just the big behaviors we see every day. It's the small, almost invisible things we do without thinking, like the way we sit or stand. Take a moment. Watch someone closely, their posture, the way their shoulders slouch, or how they always cross their legs the same way. Doesn't it almost feel like you can recognize someone just by how they move? Now think about it. Why is that? What is it that makes us act the way we do without even realizing it? These are compulsions. And they come from memory. Ingrained, unshakable memory. You can call it genetics, you can call it karma, you can call it fate. But one thing is certain, memory has taken control. Your actions are controlled by something you may not even be aware. And this isn't just about big compulsions. It's the small stuff too. When you wake up in the morning, do you automatically reach for your phone? Or do you have that one spot where you sit every single day without fail? These aren't random habits. They are patterns, compulsive patterns. Imagine waking up every day and consciously choosing not to reach for that phone. Imagine standing, but not immediately falling into that habitual slouch or that fixed posture. Sounds simple, right? But for most, it's nearly impossible. Why? Because we're programmed. Now let's dig deeper. What if I told you that the most compulsive pattern of all, one that controls your life, isn't something you can see or touch? It's your very existence. The fact that you wake up, you go through your daily routines, and you prepare for the inevitable cycles of life and death. These are patterns too, and they are the hardest ones to break. Think about it. The desire to be born, to exist, and the unavoidable truth that one day we all will die. It's a cycle, a compulsion we can't escape, and most people live their entire lives without ever breaking free of it. What would happen if you could break free from these cycles? If you could stop being driven by compulsions that govern every part of you? The answer is simple, yet profound. Awareness. It starts with awareness. You don't fight compulsions. You don't forcefully break them. Instead, you bring conscious awareness to them. And when you do, something miraculous happens. Compulsive patterns begin to fade away. Not all at once, but slowly. Gradually. Consider this. A person wakes up every day at 6 a.m. because they've built a routine, a good habit. But is it truly a good habit? Or is it just another compulsion? Think about it. They might drink a warm beverage at 2 p.m. because it's what they've always done. But is it really a conscious choice? Or are they simply following a cycle they've created? Even things we label as good habits can be compulsive. You may drink water when you're thirsty, but when someone tells you to drink 3 liters a day, whether you're thirsty or not, are you still being conscious, or are you just following orders? Efficiency is often confused with consciousness. You might get through your day perfectly ticking off all the boxes, but efficiency without awareness, it's like a machine, cold, rigid, and lifeless, and that's when things get dangerous. When you operate on autopilot, you start to hurt yourself and those around you without even realizing it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been so caught up in your own routines, your sense of discipline, that you've become cruel to yourself? Maybe. You've pushed yourself too hard, or you've ignored your own needs because you were so focused on the right way of doing things. We see this all the time. People, in the name of discipline, become tyrants, not just to others, but to themselves. And here's the kicker. It doesn't even have to be extreme. It could be something as simple as waking up your kids at 6 a.m. because you think it's the right thing to do. But let's face it, you're not waking them up because you think it's best for them. You're waking them up because you've been conditioned to think that discipline looks like a rigid, uncompromising schedule. But what if discipline could be something more conscious? What if we could choose to live in alignment with nature's rhythms instead of forcing ourselves into patterns that don't fit? Think about how the monsoon comes every year in June. It's not something that can be avoided. It's part of the natural cycle. But the difference is, the monsoon doesn't force itself. It just happens. It's in alignment with nature. Now, we humans? We're not always in alignment with the rhythms of nature. We try to impose our own, set patterns on life. But when we begin to break free from compulsions, when we stop trying to force life into our own set molds, we start to experience true freedom. The question is, can we break free from the compulsions of our existence? The answer lies in one simple truth: consciousness. You don't fight compulsions, you simply bring awareness to them. The more you bring awareness, the less power compulsions have over you. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. You don't fight the darkness. You just turn on the light, and with that light, compulsions lose their hold. And this, my friends, is where true freedom begins. So, the next time you feel stuck in a compulsive loop, remember this: you have the power to step out of it. All it takes is a little awareness. Because when you become conscious, compulsive patterns just fade away.